Good morning, traders. This is Brad Matheny. Excuse me, just sneezed. There I go again. This is the MENT.com TTScanner and movers video. Today is the 11th of February, and boy, oh boy, I couldn't be more pleased with my analysis and the calling of the quadruple confirmation. I mean, we have to be careful. Understand, and I'm going to tell you this so you know, everything I do is about highest probability outcomes given price factoring. So for the last 6-7 months, I've been telling you markets going up, look for these potential topping signals. But generally I've been telling you markets going up. We're not trying to short the market. I'm not saying markets going down. The MENT rotational modeling system and all of my trend indications have all been bullish for the most part. So when we ran into that upper ultimate high level on the SPY and the NASDAQ, things became a little bit more dicey. Understand that Fibonacci price theory says that market price or price is always attempting to move higher or lower, always attempting to find new highs or new lows. So when we ran into that existing high, it was either going to do one of two things. It was either going to blow right through it, or it was going to top and roll hard and suck in as many long traders as it could in the process. So as we moved closer and closer to that level, I became a bit more and more conservative, telling you to protect yourself. We don't know what's going to happen at this area, and we need to be aware of the downside risk. So now we are at a point where we are clearly above that. We've had 4 confirmed speculative phase peak patterns move to the upside, which I also call excessive phase or excess phase peaks. But the bottom line is we're moving solidly to the upside. So in the MENT movers and the MENT TTScanner Hotlists, you want to start looking for predominantly bullish triggers. This is the value list. We have a new trigger here in Walmart. We have a new trigger here in AXP. You also want to start looking for these pop shift and TT thrust patterns. So understand, you want to look for these thrust patterns and these pop shift patterns when they show up. We don't have a pop shift pattern here, and we have one pop shift pattern here and one here in CVGW. Here is OGS. So you're going to be ideally trying to trade the direction of the trend. You do not want to try to fight this upward move. You do not want to be looking at some of these short triggers unless you're confident enough to play very short-term objectives. So here we have, MAN and Cisco are bearish with short triggers, this is a weekly trigger. If you're capable of playing these counter to the trend, go ahead and play them efficiently as you like. But remember, the general market trend is upward. So anything that's bucking that trend is going to be very short-lived potentially. Okay, here's the MENT Reddit list. You got a flat trigger here in NVIDIA. This is weekly. You still have a long trigger here on daily. It's 22 days old. It's up 37%. We have a new trigger here in TQQQ. We have a 33 thrust trigger here. We have a pop shift trigger here in AI. We have a pop shift trigger here in IT. A bunch of 33 thrust triggers here at NVIDIA, FA, ICE, TQQQ, QQQ. Amazon doesn't have it. And then Google's got the 33 thrust. GameStop has got a 33 thrust, and AI's got a 33 thrust. So now AI's got the pop shift trigger here weekly, which is good. And AI has the 33 thrust trigger here, which is good. This might be a really great little setup. Let's take a look at it. Haven't been and taken a look at this. Okay, this is weekly. Good, solid move to the upside here. Look at this. So hypothetically, Fibonacci price theory, and let's use the speculative phase peak pattern. So you can see we've rallied up to a peak. We came down. We flagged. We broke down. We set up our new support level. This support level becomes critical. This is secondary support. We need to see if we're able to move away from this, or if we're going to break down further. we are moving away from this to the upside. This could be the end of the move. Now, Fibonacci price theory tells us that we need to be seeing higher highs and lower lows. So we have a high up here we need to try to take out. And we have a little high, a secondary standout high right there that's been broken. So that gives us confirmation that we are moving to the upside. Support is down here at this level at 20, call it 23. We have confirmation of the upside. Upper resistance area is at 33, and we're at 28. So you have a pretty good move for maybe $2 or $3 in this trend, maybe a bit higher. But this is a very solid speculative phase peak pattern. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. It went to phase 1, 2, 3 for the breakdown, and then 4, the waffling trend. It's holding at this support level. So if we could get above this level, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be on up to the races again. Okay, let's come back over here and take a look at something else, hopefully. I want to try to instill this type of analysis into you. It's very important that you understand how to read the charts. And like I said, this speculative phase peak pattern is a little new to some of you, but it falls right in line with Fibonacci price theory and everything else that I do. So here's WLK, and it has a brand new trigger. Well, let's take a look here. Leah, LPX, new trigger post. So let's take a look maybe at LEA. Well, let's look here at SGH, $22. Okay, so here we have a weekly chart of SGH. You can see we've got fairly strong support right across this area. So, you know, kind of hard to argue that price finds support down in this area. We do have upward trending. You can see that. Do we have a new high? Well, technically, yes, we do. We've come back down. We've flagged. Okay, so at this point, we are flagging. And until we get the breakdown potentially of that flag, we should continue to move upward. We do have the high levels up here we have to be cautious of. And we do have these levels here, huge, massive breakdown. I'm assuming is going to be because of earnings. This is Smart Global Holdings. You know, I would tell you that, you know, you're coming off the bottom of this range. You've got to come all the way up to the top of this range. So you have at least this little $3 move to the upside potentially. But until we get this breakdown, we are still looking at upward trending. So until we break this flag, we are looking at upward trending. And again, same kind of thing happened here. We rallied up, we came all the way down, and then we started this kind of a flagging formation. And again, once it broke down, that's when we had this big breakdown right here in trend. Not the greatest setup, but still interesting to say the least. Okay, so we have a couple of 33 thrust triggers here in SGH and LPX, a pop shift trigger in LEA, AMD. Oh, AMD might be a good one to take a look at. Oh, big, beautiful rally. Look at that. Okay, so again, 33 thrust pattern comes up, or sorry, the speculative phase peak comes up, hits a peak, pulls back, sets up a flag. You must remember that as soon as it gets above this level, we are now in brand new bullish trending. So this is brand new bullish trending all the way up. Now, it does look like we've hit a peak up here. Okay, so I'm going to tell you right now, it does look like we've hit some sort of a market rotation right in this area. I wouldn't be buying this right away simply because of this downward trending mode. And again, we do have a new peak. We could be in some sort of a rollover. We do have a pattern here, which is a AMD pop shift on the daily. So you might get 2 or 3 days of upward shifting, but AMD over here is -2 long, and we are contracting. We've hit both targets, but we are in a -2 ratio, still a 5 trend, long, 8 weeks old, hit both targets. So again, you'd play this very short. These would be very short-term moves, particularly if they're counter trending on the weekly basis. Next, we have the value. Oops, sorry, went too far. That was the hot list. So we've gone through the Reddit and the hot list. Now let's come over here to the TTScanner list. This is the value list again. We've got the new trigger here in Home Depot. Sorry, in Walmart. Let's take a look at the Walmart trigger. Pretty good. So again, speculative phase peak pattern, rallied all the way up, came back down, pulled back, set up a flag. Okay, barely got above it, really didn't at the end of the week, broke down, sets up our temporary support. This is cycle 3. Now we're waffling through. We happen to close above this level back over here. Right through there, we are in a new uptrend. Okay, we should be in a new uptrend. This is the market seeking a new high again. So what we would be looking at here, folks, is the opportunity to try to trade this. Now, once you get into this mode where we roll, okay, where we roll into this non-waffling phase, because ideally this should have waffled and tried to break down here, but it didn't. This is an indication that price rolled, consolidated, and then reestablishing a trend. So throughout this entire process, you can be trading this. Like I said, once we find the support, it's either going to roll and waffle, and these can be big. They can be quite excessive. But now that we're up above this high, just like we had with the SPY and the NASDAQ, we're now into resumed upward trending. Okay, so now we have the TTScanner list. We have a new trigger in, oh, can't see that. New trigger in XLY. And these are the sectors, by the way, that I'm going to be playing with in regards to the MENT rotational modeling system. So we're going to be looking at like consumer staples, real estate, energy, global energy, utilities, technology. We're going to be playing around with some of these, trying to give you an opportunity to trade these efficiently using the MENT rotational modeling system to become a little bit more active. But right now we've got a number of 33 thrust triggers, 1 pop shift trigger in XLY, consumer discretionary. That means we could see consumers really moving back into the market here. We're getting a lot of solid long triggers. Many of them have already hit the targets here, but notice all of these new. These are very new, have not hit targets yet. These top XLJ, IYH, XLV, XLI, and XLY all look like very good long opportunities. Take a look at them. Let's see how it plays out. Core list is a lot of inverted and bearish, hardly any bullish right now. We're getting a couple new triggers here. You can check them out. Though again, long and short of it is this is a strongly bullish trending market generally. And here's the core list, a new trigger in XLV in healthcare, new trigger in SOXL, long semiconductors, and a new trigger here in IYT, transportation. Oh boy, that is very good to see. Transportation, new trigger on a weekly basis, gives us a pretty good indication the markets and the economy are trying to recover. So we'll see how that plays out. Okay, guys, remember, use the training. Use the information I'm providing you and realize that the markets don't always move in unison. You can have sectors that move against you. But again, when we get a good solid trend like this, it presents a real solid opportunity for some gains. Okay, guys, talk to you later. Bye.